Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It's going to be my first update for my rolling project 10 pan for the year of 2022. I do have some progress to share. I won't be rolling out any products. I feel like I'm close to pan on my bronzer potentially. We'll get into that, but there won't be any new rollouts. But considering the amount of times that I did my makeup, I'm actually really excited about the progress that I've made, and even more so, I'm just excited about the excitement I had for makeup again finally in January. So I just know I'm going to be even more excited to continue to do my makeup in February, and we'll hopefully have even more exciting progress to share with you guys for the next update. But if you're interested in seeing my progress for the month of January in my rolling project 10 pan, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content, or you just like to chit chat about makeup, I would love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, you guys, like I mentioned in the introduction, I have not yet hit a goal or had an empty in this project. We're only a month in, but I will leave my goals throughout. There'll be a lot of information in the description box. All of the projects that I'm currently doing or participating in, I will have those playlists down below in case you're interested in catching more project panning content from me. And then I'll also leave obviously all of the products and the goals that I've hit so far, which is 0 thus far. I haven't decided. I feel like I wanted to hit 22 empties or 22 goals throughout the course of this project, but now I'm like looking at the products that I started with and I'm like, girlfriend, you started with hard products to hit pan on, so maybe we're just gonna go with 22 throughout all of my projects. Or maybe you know what, maybe nope, we're gonna still try and hit 22 empties throughout the course of this project alone. We're gonna shoot for it, we're gonna push ourselves, but maybe I'll have to choose some easier products after I start to finish these up. I'm rambling at this point. Let's get into my progress. So let's start with my primer. I rolled in the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer. You guys know I love First Aid Beauty primers. This is one of my favorite primers throughout my collection. And normally I don't try and pan favorites just because when I finish them, I likely will repurchase. And sometimes I like to pan makeup that I won't necessarily be replacing. But sometimes it's nice to just throw a favorite in like here or there, just to like make it seem just like a little bit more exciting. Like sometimes I can get burnt out from project panning, so when there's a favorite added to the mix, it's just a little bit helpful. So when I rolled this in, I think there's a pretty significant air bubble in here, but when I have it all like patted down to the bottom, and I shine a light up to it, we started the year right about here, and now I have made a little bit of progress. I haven't done my makeup the most in January. I think I did my makeup about 10 times, which is more than I had been doing it. But considering like Steph at the beginning of 2021, I was doing my makeup almost every day. But like I said in the introduction, I'm very excited. I think I will be doing my makeup a lot more frequently going forward. So I have about half of this primer left. I do live in Minnesota. It's very cold and very dry here. I always have forced air of some kind going, whether it be heat or air conditioning, so my skin just is always very dry. So this is super nice because it is really hydrating and I've enjoyed using it. When I rolled this in, this weighed 52 grams and it is currently weighing 50 grams, so there was a bit of weight movement in this as well. I have a couple other primers that I am also focused on throughout various projects, and then I have a little mini sample size of the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, which isn't my favorite, but I kind of want to just finish that off and count it as an empty. So I've been focused on that, but I have a feeling I'll get some more use out of this and we'll see even better progress on this for the next update. For the powder that I wanted to focus on in this project, which I knew this was going to be more of a long haul product, I rolled in the Kosas Cloud Set powder in the shade Feathery. So my Kosas powder has pretty significant hard pan, which is a little bit frustrating. And I think one of the reasons when I was first trying this powder, it wasn't my favorite. I really liked it for underneath the eyes, but not necessarily all over the face. But lately I have been liking it all over the face, and I wanted to put it in this project so that I could consistently use it and kind of figure out whether or not it was a product that I really liked, that I would replace, whether it was just okay, like what are my actual feelings on it, which sometimes I feel like I have so much makeup in my collection that I don't use things consistently enough to necessarily know whether it's like a true staple or not. And I don't feel like I used this enough in January to make that decision. but I'm excited to continue to reach for this and kind of gain more insight on whether or not this is a powder that I would want to continue to repurchase, or kind of what my thoughts are there in terms of like long-term use on this. My goal is to finish this up, so I know that this will be in for quite a while. I don't feel like I made, we'll have to look and see what the pictures look like. I don't feel like I made any visible progress on this, and when I rolled this in, this was weighing 75 grams and it still weighs 75 grams. I've also cycled through some other powders, but I'm going to try and be more focused on this throughout the month of February. I do always want to be working on a concealer, so the concealer I chose to work on for this project is my Hourglass Vanish Concealer. This is one of my older concealers in my collection. Not one that I will repurchase, but also not one that I like would be hate panning by any means. So this weighed 32 grams when I rolled it in. It still weighs 32 grams. I swear I've seen like breakage, like line markings, like, what am I trying to say? Like, I don't know what I'm even trying to say right now. My brain is not working. I'm clearly under the weather. But this is where I've like marked my lines. I'm honestly like really not sure. So I said I was here at the beginning of this project, and now I'm about here. Although sometimes I swear I see like demarcation. That's what I'm looking for. Demarcation lines like around the bottom, but you never know with a concealer. I will try and take the stopper out at some point, but I'm nowhere near taking the stopper out on this. Oh, now, yeah, now I see a demarcation like right about here. Anyway, I have no idea where I'm at with this concealer. Sometimes I feel like I'm like close to taking the stopper out. Other times I'm like, this is a full concealer. So that's where we're at there. I honestly don't know. Starting in July of 2021, I started to focus on my Buxom Seychelles blush, or Buxom Wonderlust blush in the shade Seychelles. This is my favorite blush in my collection, and I knew I could get, like, out of all my blushes in my collection, this is one I could reach for the most frequently, so I kind of wanted to track my use on it that way. This weighed 37 grams when I rolled this in. It weighs 37 grams today. I've used this just about every time I've done my makeup, whether it be on its own or layered on top of another blush that I'm wearing. I think it's pretty both ways. I feel like I feel like we're never gonna see a dip or wear away or anything. It's a pretty firmly pressed powder, and I just have a feeling that the pan size on this is pretty deep just looking at it. So I'm kind of scared. This will probably still be in December of 2022 and probably won't even have a dip, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want to like demotivate and discourage myself this early in the year, but that is where we are at with that. I am working on a bronzer. I'll be working on a bronzer and continue to rotate through bronzer throughout the course of this project, and hopefully hit pan on quite a few bronzers this year. And my goal would be to finish up at least one full like powder bronzer. I did actually recently, spoiler alert, finish up my Tarte Sea Breezy cream bronzer. You guys will be seeing that in my makeup rehab update, which I'm super excited about. So I have a bronzer empty this year. Go me. But I decided to start the year out by focusing on the bronzer in the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. This is obviously a mini size, and I felt like it would just be an easy one to hit pan on. I like the tone of this. I actually have this on my face today, and I've used this quite a bit. I can see a bit of a dip in here, but just based on the size of the pan and my large bronzer brush, I feel like basically it touches the whole pan. So it's not necessarily like I think I'll see a pretty like centered dip. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now, but I'm hoping that I could hit pan on this potentially by the next update, especially if I'm frequently wearing makeup and I reach for this bronzer just about every time that I do my makeup. I do feel like I could potentially hit pan on this. I don't know, for some reason I just feel like I'm close, and maybe I'm not at all, but I could see the pans in this being pretty shallow just because the pan sizes on the Charlotte Tilbury powder is pretty shallow, so maybe that's where I'm getting that from. But I am really hopeful that I will have pan on this by the next update, and we could then roll in another bronzer to focus on. By the way, this weighed 37 grams when I rolled this in, and it's still weighing, no. This weighed 58 grams when I rolled this in, and it's weighing 57 grams today. So we did see some movement on this one, which I'm also very excited about. For my highlighter, I decided to go a little bit of a different direction than I had thought I might go, and I decided to roll in this little mini Becca Opal. I think eventually I will come back around and try and finish up my Becca Rose Quartz mini highlight, because I already have significant pan on that, but I wanted to try and hit pan on this and then obviously roll this out. I do have this on the inner corner of my eyes, and I was planning to use this as more of an inner corner highlight than anything else, rather than like a face highlight. When I rolled this in, it was 12 grams and it's still weighing 12 grams. I've only worn this a couple of times. This is something that I sort of forgot about and neglected, but this is an easy thing also to just toss on the inner corner of my eyes. So hopefully I'll have at least better progress next update, and I feel like if I just continue to focus on this, I could hit pan on this within the next couple of months or so. Next up, I have my eyeshadow primer. I focused on the Urban Decay primer potion all last year, and now I'm focused on my KVD Shake primer. I did just recently purchase a new eyeshadow primer, and I'm more than halfway done with this one, which is exciting. I did have some progress on this as well. You can see the 2 line markings. When I rolled this in, this weighed 19 grams, and it still weighs 19 grams, so no weight change on this, but I am really excited about the change, like my marking changes, if you will. I've been using this every single time that I do my eyeshadow. I actually do like this as an eyeshadow primer. I don't feel like this would be for everyone because it's a little bit annoying. You have to like shake it and then put it on your hand and then tap it on your eyes, but it still works, and I'm excited to continue to work on this and see how long it takes me to get through like half the bottle of this. Just knowing how long it took me to get through the Urban Decay primer potion, I'm curious like how similar it will be to getting through this. I wanted to work on a lip pencil this year throughout the course of this project, just because lip pencils slash lip liners are just not a product I find myself motivated to reach for. So throwing it on a project will help me hopefully have motivation to use my lip liner collection. So I decided to put in this Vive Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Velvet Sands. It's just a shade I really like. It's a really beautiful neutral brown sort of shade. And it's something I feel like I can get a ton of use out of, whether it be to line my lips or to use it like all over my lips, almost as like a lipstick. There's no weight change on this. This weighed 4 grams last update, and it still weighs 4 grams, but there was some movement. I believe I've sharpened this one time, and I'm really excited that I did see some movement on this. I also know I have been reaching for this pencil, so I think this will take a while to get through, and it might be a situation where I swap this out for a different lip liner, you know, in a couple of months, just to try and like actually rotate through my lip liner collection, rather than only finish up like one lip liner but then not get any use out of my lip liner collection, if that makes sense. I do have one lip liner I feel like I'm pretty close to using up, so we'll kind of play it by ear, but I'm excited that I saw some change in terms of the length on this lip pencil. I also decided to toss in my Pat McGrath Sublime Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. When I rolled this in, I had about half of this left. There is a little bit of movement on this. As you can see, and there was a bit of weight change as well. This weighed 148 grams when I rolled this in, and it weighs 147 grams today. I want to say I used this 3 or 4 times. I have been trying to keep this top of mind and use this up. This is not my favorite foundation by any means. For me, I wish I did not spend the $68 on this or whatever it costs. The packaging's beautiful, but it's just not my favorite formula, not something that I would repurchase. But one of the foundations that I want to get my money's worth, and it is a little bit older in my collection. So hoping that I can finish this in the next few months and just kind of be done with this, but still got about half of that left. And then the 10th and final product is this NARS Lip Velvet, I think, Power Matte Lip Pigment in the shade American Woman. When I rolled this in, this weighed 18 grams. It still weighs 18 grams, but I have worn this probably like 5 or 6 times, which is saying something because it is a matte lip product, which is not typically my favorite. I love me a glossy lip or a balm, but I really love the shade of this. I think it's beautiful. It doesn't necessarily swatch the shade. Oh, Nikes. I just have this like tilted over, and it ran out onto my leg in like the most odd consistency ever. Okay, that was interesting. I feel like this formula is now like, okay, anyway, there it is, swatch right there. It looks super rosy here, but it dries down more of like a dark, kind of similar to this, but maybe like a little bit more pinky. It's beautiful. It is super drying, so I do sometimes like to toss a balm or a gloss over it, but I did see a little bit of demarcation about middle of the way. I forgot to mark this. I will mark this. I feel like a month or two more use on this and I could have this done. I don't necessarily know, especially since I just spilled a bunch of this onto my leg and it's super runny. I don't necessarily know that I will take the stopper out on this, but lips, the lip categories in my collection in general are something that I want to focus on, and I thought it would be nice to just try and work my way through some of my mini lip products, especially mini lip products like this that I wouldn't naturally reach for because it's a liquid lipstick type of product. So I feel like I could finish this up in like 2 months time if I continue to focus on it the way that I have, which I'm super excited about. But after that, that is going to conclude and wrap up today's video. Those are the 10 products and the progress on those 10 products that I'm currently working on. I would love to know, are you currently panning anything in your collection? Do you have any makeup empties from the month of January? Again, if you're interested in seeing more project panning content from me, I'll have all of my current projects down below. My next update will be for my whole collection project pan, which will be coming on the 5th in case you're interested in that. But other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.